Hello, and welcome to InDepth, GSU's television news magazine. I'm Sarah Zibana Jadrad. Every year, approximately 150,000 American troops are deployed to fight in war and return home. For many, life is not always the same as it was before experiencing war firsthand. Many times, soldiers are forced to deal with symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, which can range from insomnia to suicidal tendencies. Families oftentimes feel helpless in aiding their loved one's battle with post-traumatic stress disorder, otherwise known as PTSD, and they too struggle with the aftermath. That's where Susan Anderson comes in. A mother of two former Georgia State University students, Susan created ArtReach, a nonprofit organization that uses art to help survivors of war in Eastern Europe and the Middle East. Today, she is focusing ArtReach's efforts towards the home front in an effort to help American troops and their families.
ArtReach is a nonprofit that is based in Atlanta, Georgia, and it was set up in 1999, and our first year of action was in 2000 with a mission that addresses the trauma from war and natural disaster that has affected adults and children.
In the 11 years since its creation, Susan has expanded the ArtReach Foundation to NGO status and is now branching out to new initiatives at home.
Well, why can't we do international work as well as domestic work? I mean, after all, we did it with responding to the Katrina issue. Why can't we do it now in response to our own military?
In 2006, 7,000 soldiers were diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder after returning home from war. By 2008, that number had doubled to 14,000 soldiers suffering from PTSD.
The ArtReach Foundation believes that there's a gentle way of approaching this processing that may need to take place. Now, drugs can help, and drugs are the easy thing that people frequently go to just to become more calm. But beyond that, what can happen? Telling your story, if you feel safe enough, is one approach that we advocate for.
If you commit to it and you try, the art therapy is very emotional outletting, and you get a more calming effect. You get a lot of your anxiety and your depression and everything just leaves.
The goal is to build over the course of several days, because our workshops can be a one-day introductory program, or more importantly, if you have people together for several days, you really do form bonds that enable them to feel a point of hope and possibility.
An environment like this is very conducive to recovery, to moving on, because you're seeing veterans. And the 2 days we were here, I was in contact with veterans of 3 different generations. And seeing them deal with the same things and move on is awesome. It shows you that the possibility is there.
I'm very, very excited about this whole initiative. We call it Project America, and we think it's really a fine way that we can help to do anything we can that is a big challenge today in the area of public health. It's something that you cannot open a magazine, a newspaper today without reading a story about how our military are dealing with trauma. The numbers are staggering, and the suicide rate is going up because it's the coming home when the journey can often begin, and it can last for a lifetime. So whatever the ArtReach Foundation can do to help alleviate some of that suffering, it's worthy, it's noble, and we want to do it.
The daggone Department of Defense really needs to look into this type of program. Not just for service members. This will be so beneficial to the spouses who, PTSD just say for combat people.
Right.
I believe spouses deal with a certain degree of PTSD, separation anxiety, coping. They deal with a lot of things that we deal also. But and this program could help them.
Again, a pilot program here in the state of Georgia, which has so many retired military and so many deployed groups that we feel we can serve within just our own small state. But it's a program that we believe is easily replicated, it's low cost, and it's something that others can be trained to do with one another. We are not training people to become art therapists. That's not what we are doing. We are training people who wish to volunteer to serve their brothers and sisters in the community to make it better, to create community connectedness, and we do it through the arts. My son Blake Morley was on our first teams to Bosnia. He went for 2 different years, and I think it affected him profoundly to travel out of what is a comfortable living environment to go to an area where there is nary a person or even a child that had not seen trauma or a dead person was eye-opening, profoundly eye-opening. I'll say that word again. He and I have had a lot of conversations over those years, but I know that it has informed his view of the world and his desire to work towards making things better for those that have had circumstances come upon them for no reason at all. I've also had the good fortune to have my other son, who graduated from Georgia State a number of years before, go with me on this last trip that we did when we opened the Middle East Institute. His name is Christopher Morley, and he did a blog for us during that time called Art Notes from the Field, and I was absolutely blown away as the mother of his writing. And again, it warms my heart that both my sons have desired to play a role in something that I just dared to dream about. It's a family affair, I guess we could say, at this point.
For GSTV, I'm Sarah Zibana Jodrod.